Hi, Guido Fox here. Wonderful that you're going to watch a new spiritual movie, short video about spiritual development, spiritual awakening, spiritual knowledge, and all to create a more healthy mind, right? That's all about spirituality, is to create a healthy mind, a healthy way of living. And further stages of spirituality leads to ecstaticness, inner feelings by opening up the seven seals in your body where Jesus were talked about, where Osho were talked about, where Buddha talked about, was talking about, and also Bodhidharma, the white lotus knowledge from the master Bodhidharma, written by the Bhagwan, written by Osho, nearly 300 pages I read for you guys about spiritual development and create healthy behavioral patterns. I think that's also important to mention how to behave, how to act, how to react, how to analyze your own behavior, that it will be stimulating your positive karmas. Because if you act well or try to act well, the world is more shining to you. When you're tired, when you're exhausted, you get negative reactions from the outside world. When you're healthy, when you're meditative, when you're feeling okay, the world is giving you so much more positiveness back. So that's also where spirituality is about. It's about mirroring effects. You become more sensitive for the mirroring of the outside world. So what is causing um, your mental destruction, and how it's influencing that from the outside world on the reactions you get, right? So if I'm tired, if I'm exhausted, then I get negative feelings back. And if I'm happy, if I'm shining, I did my meditations in the morning, my day is becoming better and better. So that's also the spirituality part, what I want to mention you. First topic about Bodhidharma, about the Zen Master Bodhidharma, is uncompromising expression. And this is close to radical honesty. In the personal development, you had a book about radical honesty. Um, Partly I agree, partly I disagree. And the part I disagree is that you have also social calibration. So if you find the dress of your girlfriend or the pants of your husband not nice, it is not nice to say, hey, I don't like your pants. Maybe you bring your girlfriend or your husband to a nice clothing store and you're going to buy a new one that's more social calibrate and be so hard and rush and honest to your partner. So radical honestly sounds very brave, but can disturb a lot of relationships because there's no social calibration there. And that is with uncompromising expression is putting out your emotions, yes. Uncompromising expression is not holding yourself back, but you can say it on a more social calibrated way, right? I always use the cinnamon as a wheel of a car or a wheel of a motor, and the wheel is not going out the air out of the wheel at once, but with a ventil. With a small ventil, you put the air out of the wheel. That's also your energetic system. So if you want to put out your emotions, if you put out your emotions, you also be aware a little bit if this is the social calibrated way or the environment where you can do this, or you have to break really patterns with the risk of getting heavy resistance from the outside world, or break your relationships with people in your surrounding, right? So if you every time you say to your husband or your girlfriend in the morning a negative thing, oh, your hair is bad, and you really mean it that the hair of your partner is bad, that it can cause disturbed relationships. And if you want to laugh and smile, and you come in a new store, and you're smiling very hard and you're laughing very hard, people are looking a little bit strange to you, right? So you can also be a little bit more social calibrated, then the environment will accepting you more than be fully expressive way. That's the situation. Okay, that's the topic about uncompromising expression. So be expressive, yes, but do it also in a more social calibrated way that the resistance will be less, and also not breaking your relationships, because your relationships are very careful, right? Be careful about the relationships you have in life. He is surrounded by an aura of his own. So I met a year ago, I think already. Time flies, right? Women, she was very sensitive. I met her on the street. We had night intimacy in my studio here, and she was so sensitive, and she said, "Oh yeah, I met you and I saw your aura." And it was so compliment for me that she saw my aura. And a few people, I think, can see only my aura. That's are the high calibrated, the more evolutionary stage people. And they are further in life, and they're also very sensitive. So if you're very sensitive, you can feel my spiritual calibration, and probably, I hope, you can also see my aura around my head and around my body field. And I recognize also when people are relaxing, and they're sitting on a terrace, or they're sitting in a jacuzzi or whatever, they're in a relaxing state, they can also see, or they stare to me. So people are more staring to me because they see probably a very light field around me. What's the cause of that field is that sevens opening and holding with your mind. I talk later about it. It's the transcending the body mind complex. So when you transcend the body mind complex, you're related to your body, mostly your ego, or you're related to your mind. Talk later a little bit more about that. But if you can transcending the body mind complex, you are able to feel your seven seals in your body because your mind is there. That's the mind knack. Talk later more about that. But if you can hold the mind knack, your seven seals in your body are more going to shine. And if your seals are more going to shine, probably you get a stronger energetic light field slash aura uh, around you. And you will be a field of a blowing wind. That's what Bodhidharma said on page 20. So on page 20, Bodhidharma said you're becoming a blowing wind. Blowing wind. If you walk closely to people or you move further than them, then they look around. What the fuck is this kind of guy? What I feel here? What kind of energy is this? This is different than a normal, ordinary guy. So they feel the energy, they feel the high spiritual energy, and nearly no one in society is doing this, right? No one in society meditate for 7 years, 2 hours per day on average, like me. So there is nearly no guy who is so into spirituality and going into that energetic field and feel the inner ecstaticness that it will be a surprise when I enter a new room or I enter a street dynamics or enter a field, then people are looking and they can be disturbed. They can also be jealous because I have a vibe of authority. So if you have a field, you're a prince. You become a prince who lived in an abundant state in life, a natural, relaxing way. You have your women in your surroundings, so you act like a prince. So dark energies will trying to compete with you, trying to drag you down, but you get also a lot of positive reactions, right? So if you explore your aura, you become like a blowing wind. But now you're probably still in your body mind complex. First, the mind, and page 15 is writing about it. Is you're just a battlefield. So the ordinary state for the ordinary people, or the most people, 19%, the mind is a battlefield. You go rush from this. I have to do the wash. I have to clean the kitchen. I have to work. I have to bring the children to the school. I have to do this and do that. So a lot of time in your mind is going out about planning, time planning. A lot of things in your mind is going about the comments you get during the day. Why this person is saying that? I'm annoyed by it. It's going in the past. The distraction, the traumatic experiences on the past. So your mind is a battlefield, right? That's the ordinary state within spirituality. And we have to go to the ecstatic state. We have to go to transcend that battlefield mind. So we have to go into meditation. And when I talk about meditation, it's not 10 minutes before you're going to bed or 10 minutes in you're waking up. I talk about making flying hours. And literally, you're going to fly. You become so light, your steps on earth becoming light and light. You're becoming more light, your shoulders are probably more relaxed when you meditate 2 hours plus per day. Short-term meditation, long-term meditation, use an alarm. And you can count to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 1.5 hour, whatever, average 2 hours per day. And you will be a lighter, more mental health, more ecstatic, more relaxed, and you transcend this battlefield mind, right? Transcending the battlefield mind to raise you up to higher spiritual realms, to higher spiritual frequencies, to break the evolutionary path of humankind. So humankind, maybe about 2000 years, people are going into 2 hours meditation per day, but not now. We are too early. So we are here to break this evolutionary pattern. We are becoming an highly evolved human being, an innocent, peaceful, relaxing, chill, higher evolved human being who's transcending the mind body complex. You're not the body, you're not your six pack, you are not your bicep, you're not your beautiful women boobies or butt. That's some plus, that's some bonus, and say something about your work effort. I really like when women train and say something about mental state, about discipline, about that you care about your foods. I like when men train, it's discipline, but ego is too much involved there. So train as a bonus, feel good, I move on the street, I can breathe more. I train now 6-7 times per week. I feel better. It's a mental training, and your body is it's a bonus. But don't clinch on your body. Don't think, okay, I have to go to the beach. I want to shine there with my six pack. Maybe I get some attention from women, or I get some attention from guys if you're women. So don't be attached to your body. It's a plus to have a nice body, but you are your 7 inner seals. You are the ecstatic line in yourself. You're a pure and religious person. You're not the person you think you are, because you're not ready evolved. You're not ready further in life. You haven't started with meditation. And when you feel your inner line and you create your aura around you and you become lighter in your lighter field, then you are that. You will be mentally strong to continue with your trainings, and that will be a bonus, for you. So that is part of transcending the body mind complex of humankind, right? So we are in the chattering mind, we are in the battlefield mind, or we are in the body, and the last one, we are our position. So we are the business guy, we are the politician, we are this kind of job, and we show off and we think that we are our job. But also, your job is a bonus. You're not your job. A lot of people's confidence is related to their job position. So, what you see if a guy is falling out of the job, his confidence is dropping down because he lost his job. But you are not your job, right? So you are your inner godliness line. That's you. Your job is your bonus. And if you fall out of your work, you have to work on yourself. You have to make maybe a career switch where I can help you with. So you lost a lot of times. People's confidence is too attached to their position in society, the position in how much you earn and what kind of rank you have in society. Page 24. When you become awaked, 5-6 years ago, I felt my hidrata opening, a very small spot in my body after a long time of meditation, and I feel the opening line was shooting up, and you will be twice borner. That's important to mention. You will become a twice borner. You will be renewed, refreshed, every moment, but there's also starting a new life. After the matrix life, the society life, the out of the society, the out of the matrix life start. By me, it was like 26. When I was 26, I stepped out of the matrix, out of society, out of the patterns of family, of company, of university, of traditional relationships. So after 26, when I gonna heavily meditate, I felt the Hidrada opening and I want to continue doing that. So that was the change in stepping out of the matrix reality, stepping out of the system of the matrix, and going into meditation and discovered a new life, a new Guido. People were saying that even to me. There's a new Guido. There's a transformed Guido. There's a new Guido, a twice borner. I'm a twice borner. I have a new life. 26 years old, I got a new life. The old matrix life was so boring, devastating, mentally crap. That when you look back, and that's what Bodhidharma said, and Osho, Bodhidharma, Buddha, Jesus, you have to understand, they were the most smart people on earth. Not your science guys, not your politicians. The really, really masters were the smartest people on earth. So please listen to them, right? So when you're awaked, when your line is shooting open in yourself, you see the stupidity from centuries of humankind, where they were in with all those stupid wars. But also you see your own stupidity in the system you wear. You think, oh, why I was there so long? Why I accepted the matrix distorted patterns? Why I accepted to be there in those schools, in those companies, in your small social circles? Why I was there? If I was escaped from the normal life, right? If I was free from the prison of society, and that's where Osho wrote about so many times, that you escape from the entanglements of society frequency. If you're going into meditation, you escape that frequency and you see all the destructive patterns and you see the stupidity from all the systems where you were in. Now, if you're going more in meditation, you will be a magnetized personality. So if people are more in your energy field, in your aura, in your appearance, they can look strange to you because you're not a normal person, right? Because they don't know the secret about the seven seals. They don't read any book about enlightenment. The normal people never meditate 2 hours plus per day. So people are seeing something or feel something, but they say, okay, maybe I misunderstood. Did I saw some strange aura? Is this correctly or not? Or what's this kind of guy? But slowly, they gonna absorb the energy and you will become magnetized for them. So you will be a magnetized personality. That means that you also has to set borders. Without borders, you create leakages because you're on a higher spiritual realm, conscious levels, and they are in 100. They are in 80, 150, whatever, and you are in 800, 900,000, maybe 700, 600. So there is an energy leakage going on. So if you're becoming an aura and you're becoming more ecstatic, you have to say no to people who are not worth it, you're not want to invest in, because your energy is very powerful. And Osho said that too. I have to be very careful with who I go. Very careful with who I give my energetic energy and my mental energy, because you become a very, very strong force if you're following, of course, my advices. A strong force with a big leakage energy. Page 87. You are an Arhata or a Bodhisattva, and that's very. I want to mention that there's people who are going to spirituality and they're following a leader, and they meditate and they find it okay. They feel some openings in the body. They are the Arhatas, and you have the Bodhisattvas, and they're the teachers. They really feel an internally drive to share their energy and ecstaticness. And I must think a little bit in between. I mean, I like to share my videos and I like to do that, but I've not really the motivation to go all around the world to say, hey, I'm opening up here and I feel my internally line, my pure religious activity, and I want to share. I'm not really like that, right? So I make some videos, but it is good to mention Bodhidharma said from, okay, there are also guys who becoming awake and they disappear in the universal realm. That's okay, right? And Osho said too, it's very rare if some guy is or women is becoming awake that they're gonna teach things, right? That they're gonna teach. It's a very rare phenomenon, because there's also a kind of shyness, or there's a kind of sensitivity from these people that they think, I don't want to get over the crowd. The crowd will not understand this, and you get resistance. And you can be crucified like Jesus, right? You can be poisoned like Osho. They can throw stones on you like Buddha. Right? It's very. It will be disturbed. The crowd, people who never meditate, who are in their battlefield state, and their battlefield state will be transferring on you, will be fighting against you. It will be a tricky thing to give seminars all around the world and start over again with people in their beginning stage, and they want to reach something very quickly. They want to have becoming enlightened in 3 sessions. They want to have a career change in 3 sessions. They want to have quick resolutions, and it's impossible. It's time, and patience, ultimate patience, ultimate dedication to reach something, to opening up your crown chakra, your third eye. I'm working years and years to feel that a little bit, to feel a little bit your awakening spots in your body. It's patient work, right? And page 105, you will be questionless. There are no questions anymore. All your questions will be answered in that ecstatic inner feeling, right? There are no questions anymore. No questions are arising. All the books seems useless because you can focus on that. You can focus on your godliness, and every wish will be fulfilled. Every wish will be. You will be happy with nothing. you will be having. You will be having. You will be happy with being poor. You will be happy if you have no intimacy for a while. You will be happy only as a grounded, as a base, if you feel that godliness, right? And you have to make time for spirituality. And that's what Bodhidharma said. Ordinary people are living for work. Work and a little bit life and a little bit freedom and a little bit family, and that's the life, right? Your job and in some free time, and you watch television and you fuck a little bit, and that's your life. You go on holiday from holiday to holiday. I know the Matrix life, right? The Matrix life is kind simple. But if you are extraordinary, if you want to become extraordinary, if you want to become awake, if you become enlightenment, you need time for that. You need to meditate. Meditate, time, and reading your books and your material, and that costs time and effort, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And people are going to react on you, right? Your colleagues or your family members or your children, and they think, oh, you're crazy. What are you doing? Because you're raising your consciousness, and that makes people threatening because you can see through their soul. Through their soul. You can hurt people. They can become jealous. You can feel the hidden negative patterns in people. You can see the dark souls. I can see in the eyes of people. The dark eyes. I can see in one time if this guy, mostly guys, have a negative karma or do or did things in life what is not good. And if I watch them, they will be in shock because they know this guy feels and sees. They will be awaked a little bit. And then the ego is hurt. The ego is hurt. I hurt egos. Jesus hurted egos, Osho hurted egos. Buddha hurted egos. Hurting the egos to break the ego down to become enlightened. If I see a big ego, I reject them all. I be as far as possible. I walk away. I don't talk. I get my energy by myself. I choose another corner in the gym. And that is how I survive the matrix. I can live on a mountain somewhere alone. I will be happy too, maybe with a few followers. I have my peace, my forest, the natural life out of the civilization. But I choose to live still here in my nice studio in Amsterdam. To be in the matrix in society, to be a little bit attached to the normal life, right? Page 159. What left is innocent. You become so innocent. You become so anti violence. You expressed all what I told you earlier, so there are no frustrations anymore. So you're so innocent, and you see also uh, the innocent people in your surroundings. You relate to them, and children are waving to you, and babies are waving to you. They feel the positive energies, right? So children are very sensitive in their vibe. Page 178 is easy to a bit admire a dead master. Come to me. I can see your patterns. I can feel you heavily. I can support you and help you. But you have to step over a threshold because you really change. You have to give up your ego. You change because of me. By normal coaches who didn't read any book, who didn't throw so many blocks like me, who didn't meditate, you will be maybe staying the same person. But you have to give yourself over to a coach, right? To a very, I think, a good coach. So people admire a dead master. And it's interesting to know people choosing the so called nice coaches. Oh, the easygoing way. Let's go to an easy coach. He's not so smart. I go to this coach. I can manipulate him or her, and I feel a little bit good, and then I stop. So people are choosing the so called nice coaches, and then they're coming home, and their ego is still intact. The ego is still here. They say to all their family members or all their friends, wow, I did coaching. I feel so good. And after a few weeks, they are falling back in their old patterns and they stay the same and the same. And then they're telling, yeah, coaching didn't work. Coaching or therapy didn't work. Yeah, of course, you were by a nicely coach who didn't tell you the truth. You were by a nicely coach who didn't read any book. You were by an unawaked coach, a simple coach who didn't do anything for you. You admire in Jesus, you admire in Buddha, you admire in Osho, but you never was proud or have the courage to come by him close by. You had no courage to be in a one-on-one position with this person, and you will regret for time and time and time, maybe until you're dead. And when you're going dead, you think, I had coaching by this spiritual special guy. I regret why I didn't visit this guy, why I didn't do it, why I suffered so long, why I felt so proud enough to myself to not going to a coach. I was scared, or I feel weak to go to this coach, or I feel threatened by this guy. And you stay the same and the same and the same, and your soul is going to a new life, your reincarnation process, and you're still the same also in your new life. You never experience ecstaticness feelings. You stay the same and you have to do all your years again. But if you meet me, if you meet an awaked and highly spiritual guy, you change. And it can be your last soul life. You don't have to come back anymore on earth another time. When your soul reincarnation circle is over, it's done. I don't want to come back here. I'm okay. I saw the earth. I saw the world. It's okay. Don't disturb me. It's my last soul life. I'm not coming back here. I'm okay. I saw everything. So people admire and that master. It's very easy. But becoming close by. And Osho had the same. Osho said there are so many people in my seminars. In my small group seminars, people were paying 10,000 of euros to sit with me and only 20 people in a room or 10 people in a room. But there were only a very few, who were staying for a long, long time in a one-to-one position. Then you become scared. Then you can be hurt. Everyone can go to a weekend seminar and yelling, oh, life changing. Yeah. Everyone can go to a small groups dynamic. Only a few have the power to go to a one-to-one coach who can hurt you. Your ego will be hurted if you are here with me. But that's the point. If you not get hurted, no pain, no gain, you are not going further and you are hesitated. So that's what Buddha also said, and his spiritual teacher of his father, the Kondana, the spiritual teacher of the father of Buddha, said that will be the last soul life of Buddha. He not becoming an emperor, he's not going into politics, I couldn't take over the country's leadership. He chose to live a meditative life in the jungle because it was his last soul life. Don't disturb this guy, don't disturb me. It's my last soul life, don't disturb me. I'm okay. But you can disturb me for coaching, right? It's easy. It's easy to admire that master. Maybe you take 1 or 2 or 3 sessions and you will feel the heat by me. Or you feel lost because you're going into higher consciousness levels. You can feel lost, yes. Only a few, what Osho said, had the power to stay by him one-to-one. And they were reaching enlightenment. The people who were going one-to-one with me for a long, long time experience the energy transmission. The energy transmission to move you towards ecstatic levels, higher spiritual consciousness fields. And that are the powerful people. You have to be strong to come by me. You have to become strong. And maybe other coaches before you were making you a little bit more strong to come by me. So you have to be also a little bit more experienced, right, to come by me. So everyone can go to a group coaching, to seminars and yelling and watching your neighbor and you're bringing your friends in those small group dynamics, and give us short spiky emotions, but only a few are diving in ocean, the deep ocean of spirituality, and they escape the crowd to crowd movement. And that is what Osho and Bodhidharma said on page 199. That is, you go from crowd to crowd. You go from the school crowd to the company crowd, from your colleagues crowd. And then you say, oh, I want to go in spirituality. You go to all those crowd groups, crowd church, crowd mosque, crowd synagogue, crowd whatever, the traditional religions. So you stay in those crowd circles and you never escape the matrix by one highly spiritual calibrated person who can do the energy transmission. And you stay in darkness. And that is what Osho also said. People stay in darkness because the blind is teaching the blind. Blind people are teaching the blind. The unmeditative people are teaching the unmeditative people. So they stay on the same consciousness level. You move from crowd groups to crowd groups and you come nowhere. Now that was interesting to mention, I think, all this information about the White Lotus, the talks on Zen Master Bodhidharma. Thank you for watching, and I see you by the next video. Bye bye.